Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to Chasing Nurse Riri. So, how's everyone doing? All right, I'm overly excited, but in the same breath, I'm a little exhausted. So that's probably why I'm overly excited. Kind of go hand in hand, right? So, yes, I'm sitting on the floor, a little bit trying to be a little bit more comfortable because my back hurts. But anywho, we have made it to week 4. I'm super excited. So I'm halfway through my clinical session for mental health. Honestly, I can say I have not developed any mental illnesses that we've discussed. Thank goodness. I haven't given anyone any mental illness. You know, like when you're in mental health and you start seeing all these illnesses and you're like, hold on. I know somebody with schizophrenia. I know somebody with bipolar. So I haven't labeled anyone as to, I think, having that. So that's definitely a good thing as far as my family goes. But anyways, so what I was supposed to catch up on? Oh yeah, so my last video was just, I recorded it and then I didn't upload it and then I lost it. So I don't know what happened with that last video. So it's just, that's why I'm like, let me go ahead and just record one because I am a little behind. So I did have an exam last week. I didn't do as well as I hoped I would. And I studied, so it's not that. It's just trying to understand therapeutic communication on a different level. It's more than just, all right, this patient says they have, ideas of suicide or ideas of harming somebody or anything like that. And what are you to do? It's more than just that. So when I think about therapeutic communication, when I'm reading these questions, some of the things that I am selecting is, of course, not the choice, like not the correct answer. So a little, not necessarily confused, but I am getting it mixed up. So I have to go back and kind of think about that. I didn't do extremely well. I didn't even get a B, but I just got to work through that part. Did take a quiz and I did better on my quiz. The first one I got 100 and the second one I got a 90 on. So my quizzes are okay. It's just a test portion that I have to work a little bit harder on. My IS bar for schizophrenia and anxiety disorder was phenomenal. Like, she really loved it. She was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and, give you 50 points for that. So hopefully that will boost up my score because right now I'm kind of drowning, especially with that test score being a little bit lower than I like it. I got a 72, which I'm definitely not proud of. I'm just really, I was at least hoping that I got a passing grade, which is 76. But I'm going to remediate and make sure I get that part taken care of so the information to be there, like in my head, drilled into my head, regardless of my specialty. I want to make sure I execute each and every last class that I have left. So I want to make sure I bring up my grade point average as well as learn this information and be good at it, So that's what I'm working on now. My last video kind of talked a little bit about my clinical site, the clinical setting, which of course I know like what goes on in clinical stays in clinical, but like I was expressing in my last video that you guys didn't get a chance to see, it was really sad and I just didn't like the site. I still don't like the site, but I like the experience. I like that I'm able to go through and do my therapeutic communication. I'm glad that I'm able to engage in the milieu area and kind of talk to these patients that are suffering from these diagnoses or these illnesses. And I'm getting to the point where I'm able to separate the illness from the actual person so I can understand that person a little bit more. A lot of times what I'm doing now is once I'm able to separate that, it makes me even more sad because now I'm like, dang, maybe it was the loss of job, loss of insurance, the divorce, loss of a family member, loss of a parent, loss of a relationship that caused these patients to go through this depression or cause these underlying symptoms, you know, like, so I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so confused with that part, but it's really a good learning experience. But like I said, the setting, as they did the tour for us was like a little, upsetting, I guess, because I just felt really sad. I felt sad because I felt like, you know, they have an actual holding cell and things like that, a holding room, I should say, I'm sorry. And it looks like a holding cell. So that's why I was kind of like, man, this is just sad and depressing. Like, oh my goodness. I mean, as a nurse, I understand why. And even looking at their rooms, it was just like things were bolted down. Like the beds were bolted down. The light fixtures were bolted. The water was different. You know, it's like one of those motion things. It's no shower curtain. You know, things like that. It's just like, looking at that, I understand that it's a safety measure. And I understand the safety portion of it. But just because I understand it doesn't mean it sat well with me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean that I'm okay with it emotionally. Like, I can be okay with it professionally because I understand that this is what has to take place. And I understand that this is safety for the patient. But in the same breath, it's like, as a person, I'm like, God, this is so sad. It was so much for me. And it was a little bit overwhelming. So that's how my first 2 weeks of clinical was. So it was a lot. I wish I had medication to take so I can calm down while I'm there. But, you know, I got through it. And as I said before, this is my week 4. So I'm halfway through. And I'm just really excited because I'm learning something different that I didn't already know. And some of the things I haven't already experienced are things I'm learning in this particular class. So I'm learning those things and I'm able to start putting illnesses with the symptoms. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see why this is schizophrenia, or I see why this is bipolar. So it's just making me see things in a different light. So I'm really, really enjoying that part about it. So this is week 4. We have a quiz next week. Not a test yet. We have a test the following week. But we have a quiz next week. And I have to study for it so I can be ready, which I'm sure I will be. Because I can't have another grade like I had for that exam. Really still not feeling that part, but we're going to get through it. So I'm going to post another video the beginning of next week, probably like Tuesday. Just to let you guys know what I prepped for as far as the quiz goes, what I'm looking for, what's my study skills and things like that. So I hope to see you guys next week. Like I said, please leave me some questions. I got a few questions that I am going to answer on the next video. Somebody did send it to me on Facebook. So I'm going to answer those questions. And then if you guys have any more questions, definitely drop them. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know your study techniques because maybe we can use those. Maybe I can use those. Maybe I can pass it along to help somebody else, things like that. So definitely engage in a conversation and my nursing experience. All right, guys. So I will be back on here next week. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. Bye.